Donald Trump is now, of course, a convicted felon, and with that comes some consequences. Some legal, some political, some sort of striking to the core of what it supposedly means to be a conservative. For instance, the NYPD has now moved to revoke Donald Trump's license to carry a gun, which he had. He had a concealed carry permit and 3 pistols registered under the permit. Now, he has not been able to carry a gun since I think mid-2023 because of the legal process and everything that was stopped. But now they're formally moving to revoke it entirely. And that obviously is that's gonna annoy some right wingers. I don't think it's gonna super bother Donald Trump because I don't think he cares at all about guns. The idea of him holding like a revolver or something just is hilarious on its face. Come on, can you imagine him with his little gun?
I like that. He would accidentally shoot and kill Giuliani and then be like, oops, but
Oops.
like,
And then
you naughty boy. Oh, these things are pretty light. That's the vibe.
There's no way, Francesca, that when he holds one of his guns or whatever, he does not make pew pew noises.
No.
100%.
100%.
He can't sit behind like the wheel of a truck without going like, ooga. He's definitely making pew pew noises. Hey, I'm glad you're here. Listen, in order for the Damage Report to keep on going, we need viewers like you to become a member on YouTube. Can you click the join button on YouTube today? Thank you. But that's the most that he can do thanks to his concealed carry permit being taken away soon. But obviously far more damaging to Trump would be the sort of consequences that hurt him in November, not in the holster, but in the election. And we might have those a little bit. So the New York Times talked to 2,000 voters who had previously been polled in April and May. And back then, this group that they talked to supported Donald Trump by 3 points. They've been recontacted since the verdicts, and now they support Trump by 1 point. What is wrong with our country? Okay, look, it's a 2-point move. We'll see if it's durable or whatever. That's not nothing. And when you break it down, it could be more significant in some of the swing states. There's been a lot of polls coming out, and we're not gonna run through all of them, but there is reason to believe that Biden's position in swing states has improved since the verdict. Interestingly, while Trump overall retains about 93% of the voters who told the New York Times that they backed him in the previous survey, that means 7% he didn't, which is actually very similar to other polls. It does seem like 7% of America or 7% of Trump's supporters actually care enough about him being a convicted felon now to change. But let's break it down a little bit more. So in recent polls, Biden either leads or is within 2 points of Trump in states and districts worth the 270 electoral votes that are required to win the presidency. So it's within the possibility of Biden winning. A sliver of Mr. Trump's former supporters, about 3%, now told the New York Times they'll back Mr. Biden. 4% are undecided. They could flip, they could sit it out, they could end up supporting Donald Trump anyway. But when you break it down, pretty interesting. So the shift was especially pronounced among the young, non-white, and disengaged Democratic-leaning voters who have propelled Mr. Trump to a lead in the early polls. We've talked a lot about this. These are groups that have been supportive of Joe Biden and now really aren't feeling it. Well, a few weeks ago they weren't feeling it. Now maybe moving back to Joe Biden a little bit. So of the people who previously had told the New York Times they'd voted for Biden in 2020, but would vote for Trump in 2024, about 1 in 4 now say, no, actually, I'm gonna stick with Joe Biden. So that's only 1 in 4 of the flippers, but that's pretty good. There are other things that Biden could do to potentially get some of those back. And as you might have heard, the double haters, the people who hate both Biden and Trump, Trump lost 1/5 of the double haters who had previously voted for him. So look, none of this means the election is over and we are still months out and people could forget about this or he could be found guilty of other things. But what do you make of this so far, Francesca?
Yeah, it's not a good look for Donald Trump to be a convicted felon. I do not understand anyone trying to spin this any other way. And more interestingly, it's with these young voters of color who Donald Trump is trying to like cozy up to by being like, see, you're disproportionately incarcerated and they're going after me, let me release sneakers. It's like, that's not working for you, bro. Like none of this is working for you. And the fact that also like he was convicted of a crime that honestly so many other rich elites probably and likely get away with, right? Falsifying your business records. This was on top of course, the now, I guess, reduced to 400 million that he had to pay in his previous trial, defrauding the New York taxpayer by overinflating his assets and whatnot. It's just like, this is not an everyday guy. This is not someone who's had a small marijuana possession and has been, hit with a massive fine over it or incarcerated unjustly. No.
Yeah.
He's a rich guy who thought he could just get away with doing whatever the hell, and he couldn't. And people, it's very your little toxic ex, and you're like, am I gonna go back to the toxic ex now that he's a convicted felon? No, because conjugal visits are gonna be a whole thing, and I don't wanna do that. But
with Trump, they'd at least be brief.
Very brief. Yeah, 2.5 minutes, honestly. Or what did Stormy say? Yeah, so here's my favorite part about this, though. We cannot gloss over the NYPD taking away Trump's guns. They're literally coming for his guns. The NYPD, which probably gave him the guns to begin with, let's be honest, was probably a gift. Right under Mayor Bloomberg's NYPD or something. He probably has a golden gun. They're taking it away from him. And of course they should have, because this is a guy who basically was like, what if I shot someone on Fifth Avenue? There would be no consequences for that, but that was just a joke. But then also John, we cannot, the amount of just tears that MAGA are crying right now, the amount, how much they're freaking out, the cope, they're taking away his gun. Mwah, mwah. I never saw this silver lining of all of this happening. It's so good.
I had not thought of it. Yeah, but it's like taking away his car. He was never gonna use it anyway.
He's not.
It's like taking away most of his kids. He didn't really care about them anyway. What's the difference?
Right.
But they have to pretend, oh yeah, no, he's an alpha male. Oh, Trump goes bow hunting every weekend. Come on, this is not who he is.
Also, do they make guns with triggers that are small, so tiny for the little?
Tiny little ones that are supposed to fit in the little key pocket in your jeans. When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?